want to do today? Huh? What should we do today?
Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about our barn. This barn was built in 1946. Used to milk cows, milked 28 cows. There's 28 stanchions in the lower level, plus calf pens and a milk storage room, and actually there was a bull stall back in the day. The downstairs we used for some storage for the event stuff, tables and chairs and all those kind of things that are in storage. But I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the barn. It was built in 1946. My dad built this barn. There was another barn stood in this exact same spot before they built that one, but this current barn was built in 46, and it's in very, very good shape. We've taken very good care of it, so it will stand for a long, long time to come. It was very well built, and it will be here long after I'm gone. Take a look. There was originally two silos here, one on the other side, and then this is a poured silo. This silo is actually older than the barn itself. The other silo on the other side was built, I believe, the same year the barn was built. It was a stave silo. We had to tear that one down. It was getting in rough shape, getting dangerous, so we took that one down. This one has ivy growing up the side of it. Next summer I'll get you some nice footage of that ivy in the fall. That ivy turns bright red. It's gorgeous. We've got a ramp leading upstairs to the loft. Old Studebaker truck. People take pictures there. Some prairie grass plants. It's late fall, so obviously, late fall here in Minnesota, so obviously the plants are all gone. But in the summer, Jane will have all these different planters full of all sorts of stuff. That big steel vessel, or steel, it would be steel vessel. It's actually a cooker from a rendering plant, it used to be here in Princeton. Has absolutely nothing to do with weddings, but it's big and it's rusty, and to me that's cool. And that's our little tour of the outside of the barn. We'll go on up inside and I'll show you the inside. Stick around. Everybody, one of the first things I want to show you upstairs here in the barn is this pipe organ, which we got, well, I'll explain a little bit about that. It's a 1908 organ. Pump organ. It came from the first Congregational church here in Princeton had it originally. They had donated it in the early 70s to the Mille Lacs County Historical Society. couple of years ago, the Mille Lacs County Historical Society was changing some of the layout of their museum, and they reached out to the church about the organ. The church really didn't have room for it or a place to put it, so they gave it to me, and it was quite a process to move that in here. It took 8 of us. This thing is incredibly heavy. It took 8 of us just to get it up the little short. We were able to wheel it on dollies part way up, but a little short piece of the stairs outside there, had to actually carry it up those few steps. I put extra floor joists in to support the weight, so it is a heavy beast, but really, really cool. The church had actually the first Congregational church had a church service here earlier this summer, so that was pretty cool. They got a chance to play it and sing some songs around it, which was pretty neat. One of the other cool things we've got is this bear. We had the bear for a couple of years, and then we had a wedding. One of the wedding guests was a Zura from a Shriner. Zura, and he had had a couple of cocktails, and he was telling me how the bear needed a hat. So a few minutes later, he comes back from his car with a hat. So that's how our bear acquired the Zura hat, which is really cool. When the guests participate in the collection is really neat. Then next we have the bar. We have 2 bars here on the farm. This one upstairs in the barn loft, and then there's another one outside, an outdoor bar area. But here's the one inside, a lot of collectibles. The sleigh up there on the roof, the 1-horse open sleigh, belonged to the Dayton family. Or so the story goes. The shingles up on the roof of the bar are the original shingles off this barn from 1946. And also have a wallaby. You don't want to drink at a bar unless there's a wallaby on the roof of the bar. The bar itself is made from wood, old siding off actually would have been my grandfather's farm. A lot of cool stuff. Ignore the things on top. That's things I'm waiting to hang up that we haven't quite found a place for yet. And then a lot of pictures on the bar top are from here on the farm itself. Some old photographs. Actually, there's me in my underwear when I was young. Eric and Tom when they were little, filling silo here. There's Eric, Tom, and Sam when he was a baby. There's my dad there that built the farm originally. And there's my mother that also helped build the farm. Here's the original barn that stood exactly where this barn is. It looks like the roof fell in when they built this current barn. And like I'd said, this barn was built in 1946. Actually, there's a photo of when they had the barn being built. They had done you can see they had done the block work, but they hadn't built the roof or anything yet. This gas pump was original here on the farm, belonged to my father, so it's been on the farm since they were able to buy gasoline in bulk, and we moved it up here to the barn years ago. Looks like I forgot to plug it in. Let's plug it in quick. So that turned out pretty cool. What else do we got? my meat grinder collection. That was actually my dad's calendar from the year the barn was built, 1946. And he's got some notes on there on some of the dates about calves being born and things like that. I'm sure he kept track of that year this barn was built. I'm sure he kept pretty close track of things that year. And this is something you maybe not have ever seen before. Tell me what you think that might be made out of. And I'm not even going to tell you now. We'll tell you later next summer when we tour up here again. Another collage, large, I suppose you'd call this a collage, a large, it's printed on canvas, but a large picture of different scenes from around Princeton. Most of these businesses are long gone. Most of these photos are from either very late 1800s or very early 1900s. There's some that are a little bit newer. This is one of my favorites right here. If you can see in that photo. The fellow must have had a jewelry store. So he was selling jewelry here, watches you can see, and looks like maybe rings and things over here. So he had a jewelry store, a safe in the back, a big vault type safe. And I love the big fur, probably beaver fur coat here on this guy. But then they must have sold cars too. So that's when cars were so new. I don't, maybe you can tell me what model car that is. I don't even know what brand or model. But they were looking for dealers so hard for some of these cars when cars were first being mass produced that they would, even if a jewelry store wanted to be a dealership, they'd make him a dealer. How he got that in and out, I have no idea, because obviously that door is not big enough. So they must have brought it in the front door somehow, or took it apart and brought it in piece by piece. But there it is at the jewelry store. And this one too, of a bar here in Princeton. You got the spittoons. It looks like not all these guys over here could hit those spittoons over there. So, and there's a an ostrich, looks like a wolf, a goose, all kinds of critters. I love that one. Those characters look like fellas you don't want to mess with. And then our moose. He's huge. He was shot in Alaska by Virgil Collins. Shot him originally up in Alaska, hauled him back here. If you're wondering about the shoes hanging on the antlers, once in a while at the weddings, the ladies will wear some of these very high-heeled shoes and find out that doesn't work very well walking around outside on the grass and on the lawn. So they take them off outside somewhere and they leave them lay in the grass and the landscaping. If nobody comes to claim them, they go on the moose. And what really puzzles me is when I find just one shoe and not the other. I don't know a lot about women's shoes, but some of those don't look cheap. And that's just a brief tour of the barn loft, and we'll do more tours later on in the summer when weddings are going on. We'll do more stuff, but for now I just kind of wanted to give you just a brief glimpse of what our barn is all about, what we got going on here. Remember to like and subscribe, ding the bell, and we can bring you more content like this. See you later. Thanks. Ricky, come on. Come on.